I didn't have any specific goals in mind, and so I decided to go on the big adventure.
Dave Herbert echoes the voices of a lost generation of Canadians, those who fought in Vietnam. Many find it hard to believe Canadians actually served in a war so many Americans were fleeing to this country to escape. But according to U.S. sources, more than 40,000 did. Close to 80 never came back. For many, Vietnam was a chance to escape boredom. George Tissington enlisted at the age of 33 to escape marital problems and a dead-end job. He says Vietnam gave his life a sense of purpose.
Okay, so maybe a lot of people still think that we was over there for a lost cause. Don't ever tell me that. We were doing something useful. I was serving the South Vietnamese people.
George and Dave crossing the border to fight is not unique. During the first years of World War II, thousands of Americans joined the Canadian Army before the U.S. became involved. But Vietnam was a very different war.
You don't know who your enemy is because you're not wearing a uniform. You could be talking to your enemy during the day. You don't know that, and he's with Charlie at night, ambushing you.
The soldier was under constant stress in a very short period of time. And unlike other wars, daily news coverage brought home images of destruction and brutality and turned the public against the war. Veterans argue this coverage was often one-sided and served to undermine their efforts. It also caused further confusion about their personal involvement.
The Vietnam veterans' average age was just over 19 years, so it was really a teenage army, and in many ways the impressions that were made were all the more heavy and profound and all the harder to remove.
The biggest shock for vets was the hostile reaction they received upon coming home. It was especially hard on the Canadians, who became exiles in their own country.
I got into town and some woman right on the street there asked me how many babies I killed, and she actually spit right on me.
I was angry with inside, asking questions like, why are the people reacting this way?
Dr. Uwe Newman is a pioneer in the research of Canadian Vietnam vets and has counseled groups in Edmonton. He says the disorder associated with Vietnam vets resulted from the public's rejection of their sacrifices. They felt alienated and betrayed.
What I have found in working with these men is that there is something unfinished in Vietnam. It's, again, not unlike the trauma we suffer at the site of a motor vehicle accident. There's a piece of us that's lost.
The Canadian Vietnam Veterans Organization in Edmonton is still very new and prefers to keep a low profile. Taking part in today's ceremony is a big step because the emotional wounds are still very fresh. In fact, when first approached for interviews, the men refused, fearing a new wave of public backlash against them and the war.
It's been a long time, now I'm coming back home.
Across Canada, a healing process is taking place, and Canadians are finally getting the recognition they've been looking for. Recently, they were given U.S. medical benefits. Dr. Newman hopes to one day take a group of vets back to Vietnam to help them pick up the pieces of their shattered innocence.
It's been a long time, now I'm coming back home. I've been away.
Rudowski, ITV News.